Thank you for tuning in to the Clarendon Municipal Corporation Budget Forum Consultation meeting here in Milk River. We are on location at the Milk River Resource Center, and joining me is the president for the CDC. Share with our viewers your name.
I'm Novreen Darlington.
Awesome. All right, and I'm Winston Sharia Whittle, and it's always a privilege to facilitate these forums so that your citizens, both at home and in the diaspora, can hear what is happening here in Clarendon. So we're going to be hearing from a number of other members to cheer for the Finance Committee in a little while, but for now, let's hear from the Milk River CDC. What has the preparation been like leading up to the consultation that's been held here this afternoon?
Actually, when Councillor Bailey reached out to me and informed me that Ms. Samuels was coming, wanted to get in contact, and he said he gave my number to her. So I said, okay, and then I waited on her to reach out. Having reached out to me, I ran it by the rest of the exec, and then we responded to her and proceeded to send the information that was required to the municipal corporation.
All right, great. So what's been the feedback? Because normally we don't have, I think it's been a while since there's been a consultation meeting here in Milk River.
Right.
What's been the reception from the citizens?
You know, as usual, they tend to seem to be laid back and not too interested in whatever is happening. But the few who are, they are really responsive to the information that is to be presented.
All right. But as the CDC chair, how do you feel about the community having this kind of forum where they can be a part of the budget? Because this is a budget for our parish and development. Right. How important do you think that is for the citizens to get involved?
Well, it is very important. Actually, this is the first time we are having such an event happening here in Milk River. We have not had this kind of interaction per se. So it's welcoming. And I trust going forward, we'll have more indeed.
All right. So we are talking to the CDC President for the Milk River area. And CDC is the Community Development Committee for those who have not been following us on the Clarendon Resource Connector. All right, so we are engaging with the citizens here in Milk River. And for those who are able to tune in, go ahead and share the link as we prepare to hear from the team at the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. All right, final thoughts from you, Madam Chair, as we round out as to what are your expectations and for this forum.
Well, information that is well needed to the best of the presenter's capability, clear-cut points onto the way forward and how things will be done in the years to come.
All right, and I know I said that was the final thought, but what would be the top priority for Milk River?
So many. For Milk River, more development as it pertains to work, training for the youngsters who have left school or dropped out of school. Some are challenged financially and otherwise. And so we look forward to hearing what is in the bag for those unfortunate ones.
All right, thank you so much for sharing with us.
You're welcome.
All right, fantastic. All right, so there you have it. You heard from the president of the CDC here in Milk River, and we are standing by to hear from the chair for the Finance Committee, Councillor Herschel Brown. Right. So while we wait, just in case, thank you, madam, and I look forward to hearing if you are what you expected is that we met at the end of the forum. All right. All right, so thank you again for tuning in. I am Winsome Sharia Whittle, the facilitator here for this live stream coming to you from Milk River Resource Center. All right, and we are standing by for the, can come on over. All right, so we have a Brown, but it's not Councillor Herschel Brown, but Wayne Brown, the Director of Finance himself. Thank you for joining me, Mr. Brown.
It's a pleasure.
All right, your microphone. All right, so for those who have been following the local governance and community development series that we've been having since 2022.
Yes.
Yes, it's been a while. Since 2022, every fourth Thursday. So we would have heard from Wayne Brown, the Director of Planning, back in 2022, I believe, about what exactly the Director of Planning does at the municipal rights. Director of Finance. Oh Lord, there's so many. And we just did planning recently, some things with planning recently. Was the Director of Finance himself that's here. And we want to hear from him now. What went into the whole selection of the location? Because last year you were up north, Clarendon.
Right.
What led to the selection of south as the location for this?
All right.
meeting?
So selecting the location was based on the decision of council. We have not been in this area for some time, and we believe that we need to, to take it to this area, which we have never been before. Most of the areas has always been in the northern side of the parish. So we have decided that for this side, or for this time around, we will be in the southern side of the parish.
Okay, I was wondering if the hurricane there had anything to do with the decision.
Not really.
Oh, okay. And right, and I just spoke with the chair for the CDC here, and they are delighted that it's been held here in Milk River. Right, and we're happy to be able to share it, not take it outside of Milk River, but yes. Right, others can participate in the forum as well, and they can ask questions, of course. All right.
Yes.
What can they expect for the duration of the consultation?
All right. So what happened? We are actually the Local Governance Act speaks clearly to us having a discussion or consultation with our citizens as regards to the budget of the local authorities. So we are here to present the budget of the local authority to the people. And even though we are within this locality, in fact, we are expecting that other persons would engage with us also. We are expecting to hear the views of persons. We are expecting to get feedback from persons on what they think, and also how this budget will also impact their lives, right? So we are expecting the communication.
Okay.
Persons will know exactly what we do, what we're offering, and what part that they will have to play, in ensuring that this budget is, is being fruitful, because this budget is really for the people. Because as you know, that the local authority is really for the people.
That's
right. See? And we are, as a local authority, we provide basic services, and these services, it comes at a cost, and we want them to partner with us to ensure that these services can be carried out.
Fantastic. Right, and for those who have not been tuning in, there's a whole playlist. As a matter of fact, where you're on now, that link is linked to the playlist for the local governance and community development series that we host every fourth Thursday. So there's a lot there about the different departments that you can check out, right? And as we continue with the discussion, I'll share more on that, so you can stay tuned. Already we have Annette McDonald, Greta Sims, Sheila Mohan Singh tuning in live. Thank you for connecting and indicating that you are here with us. Remember to share the links so others can join us as well. All right, Sir Brown, as we continue for the people. So for those who are online, they can ask their questions as
Yes.
well, and we'll able to take their questions.
Exactly.
But after this forum is over, are there opportunities, avenues for the citizens to still participate
Yes.
in the discussion?
There are opportunities, and we would want to invite, some of our citizens, to reach out to us on our different social media platform, and and sending, their queries. Let us know exactly what you think, and I am sure that even Serenity, resource, you would have this medium through which persons can communicate also, and I'm sure that we will be able to get the feedback from you also, right?
Certainly, right. And that's because the link that you're on will remain there on the platform. So you can always go back, and if there's something that you missed, or if there are relatives that are in the diaspora that you want to participate, share the link. Or you might have relatives who have moved to another part of the island, share the link, and they can leave their comments there, and I'll be happy to pass on, because this is a collaboration. It's all about strengthening community development, and that's what we're here for, that resource, connecting
Yes.
the citizens with the information so you can make informed decisions and choices. And we need your input, because we don't want to hear at the end of the day that, oh, the municipal corporation did this. This is your opportunity to let your voice be heard.
Yes.
All right. So share. If there's someone else that you know will be ready and willing to share, go right ahead and send that out. Any final thoughts before we get into?
Just to say, and I mean that you would have emphasized it, we need to hear from you. We need to hear from your citizens who want to know what we can do better. We are presenting a budget here, but we need to hear from you so that we can make a necessary adjustment as we go forward.
Thank you, Sir Brown.
Thank you so much.
From one Brown to the next. All right, we're going to ask Councillor Brown to join us next. All right, as we get ready to get into the meat of the matter. Councillor Brown will be joining us in a little while. He is the chairman for the Finance Committee. There are so many committees, and we are going through all the committees. As a matter of fact, tomorrow, Thursday, October 24th, we will be having a discussion with the chair for the City and Community Affairs Committee, and you'll hear all about how these different committees operate. So outside of this forum, welcome, Councillor Brown.
Thank you much, ma'am.
Welcome. All right. All right. So Councillor Brown would have joined us for Councillor's Corner representing his division in 2023. So if you missed that, you want to go back and check it out. The cleanest division still?
That's right, the cleanest division, the prettiest town in Clarendon, Chapelton town.
My birth town. So,
Good.
All right. So Councillor Brown is wearing his chairman hat now for the Finance Committee, and you will be hearing more from him. I think you're on the schedule for 2025, God's willing, to share more about the committee and how it works with the admin arm of the municipal corporation. But for now, Councillor Brown, tell us, what can we expect for this evening?
Well, thank you for having me. This evening, we are doing a public consultation for the preparation of the 2025-2026 budget. This process is actually mandated by law that we have to take the budget preparation to the public to have their input before we do our final budget. So this is a process that we are engaging in today to get have a conversation with the community and then be able to prepare our final budget to be submitted.
Fantastic. So as I was sharing before, emphasizing with Dwayne Brown, the Director of Finance, that it's very important for the citizens to get involved at this point and not after the fact. So in terms of the councillors for the different divisions, how have they been ensuring that the citizens across Clarendon have a voice in what takes place where the budget is concerned?
Well, actually, what we do, we have our internal consultation where each councillor as a get a chance to put their input into the budget preparation, and we are expecting that process would have taken the opinion and position of the constituents that they represent before they feed it into the budget process.
Okay, because I know like with the from the national level with the Constituency Development Fund, the MPs are expected to have meetings with their constituencies. Is it similar at the local governance level?
It is definitely similar, and we're trying to be as inclusive as we can be, and that's why we are in Milk River this afternoon to ensure that no one is left out of the process.
Okay, awesome. And Milk River is glad that they cheer for the CDC, that they're glad that you're here in Milk River.
Good.
So I'm hoping that they will reflect that in the attendance here this afternoon. But not to worry for those who are not able to be here in person. You can join us live, and remember we are taking your questions and comments on this feed. So go ahead and share the link so others can join in, whether they are in Jamaica or in the diaspora. Final thoughts from you, Councillor, as we.
Well, let us get involved in the decision-making process. We are seeking to be as inclusive as we can be at the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. And of course, if you do have questions after we're through, we will seek to answer them as best as we can.
All right. Are you remembering the email address I can share with them?
No, not all.
All right. All right. If my memory serves me correctly, it's CEO at Clarendon Municipal Corporation. Gmail. All right. All right. We're going to make sure we get it right and share it here so that you can reach out, so we can have your input for those who are watching the replay. All right.
Thank you for having me, ma'am.
All right. Pleasure. All right. So we are standing by for the official start of the annual budget consultation meeting that's taking place here in Milk River, Clarendon. And we are happy to have all of you on. I see a number of our Clarendonians sharing in the comments. Feel free to share. You can also indicate where you're joining us from across the parish, so that the municipal corporation will have an idea as to where the representation is from this afternoon. So feel free to share. And it mentioned earlier, just in case you missed it, that on the 4th Thursdays, we go live here on Certain Resource Connect to YouTube, where we have our local governance and community development live forum. And on Thursday, October 24th, we're going to be hearing from the chair of the Civic and Community Affairs Committee and the coordinator for the community development programs, as they share what exactly the committee is all about, what exactly they do, and how you, the citizens, can get involved. All right. Thank you so much, Dorothy, for sharing. All right. Living in Longville, but currently overseas. All right. So we have a number of persons who are joining us from overseas at this time, and we're happy here at Certain Resource Connected to be able to facilitate this kind of connection where you can be a part of what's taking place here in your parish. Continue to stay tuned as we have our program for the live forum. 10 minutes for it?
No,
So already you turn it on.
Not. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm sure I can get a better one than that. Good evening, everybody.
Has taken the floor.
Good, beautiful. I want to
Joining him in the
get this consultation on the way. You know, my name is Herschel Brown, and I'm the chairman for the Finance Committee of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. The budget consultation process that we're engaging today is to ensure that we have the input from our constituents in the development of our budget. And the budget to which we are going to be speaking is the 2025-2026 budget. Let me firstly thank the Milk River Division for hosting us, and we do greatly appreciate of the councillor, Mr. Bailey, for offering his division for this rather important meeting. The process is going to be, we're going to be doing our pearl, our welcome, as you have the agenda. And when we get to the presentation of the budget, I'm going to be asking that we write down our questions and do the questions after the budget presentation is completed. Are we good with that? Thank you much all for coming, and we are going to go right into the start. Nurse Knight, we're going to be asking you to lead us to the throne.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Milk River. Let us first bow our heads in reverence while I pray. Eternal Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. We come to you this evening through your Son, Jesus Christ. We thank you for your grace, your mercy, your goodness towards each and every one of us, that we can gather here this evening for this budget consultation process. Lord, we thank you for the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, our council, all those who make this possible. And Lord, for the communities around, those who are not here as yet, pacing their footsteps, that they may come and support and learn about this important process. Lord, take over the proceedings, and that everything may be done in order according to your will. Lord, give us a full understanding of what is being presented, that the questions asked may be relevant, concise, and that at the end of the proceedings, we all may be edified. Lord, continue to send down your blessings upon us and help the budget, that whatever is presented, Lord, it may stretch to do the many things that it has to do, and that we may be well served by it. In this I pray to your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you much, Nurse Knight. Let me acknowledge the presence of the CEO of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, Mr. Ron Blake, and his team. Mr. Blake, I think it would be important that you introduce your team so that everybody know who they are working with when they call a council.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. So, with us today, we have a large group of members of staff of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. And I'd just like to introduce the members, and please stand and be acknowledged as I call your name. I'm going to start at the back. We have with us Ms. Jordan Palmer, who is our Director of Procurement. Mr. Staffel Thomas. Mr. Staffel Thomas, who is our Director of Planning. Ms. Rasheen Maraj, and she's with the Property Tax Unit. Clevan Watson, who is our Chief Engineering Officer. Opal Dodd, and she was our Chief Internal Auditor. And we have Stone Spence, and she's my Executive Secretary and my Manager. And we have Ms. Kimberly Ashley, and she's our Local Economic Development Officer, along with Commercial Services Manager. We have Sisona Warren, and she's our Licensing and Compliance Officer. We have on the side Brian Johnson, and he's with the Property Tax Unit. We have sitting beside those gifts Mr. Wayne Brown, and he's our Chief Financial Officer. And we have beside Brian, we have Ms. Shanique Samuels, and she's the person who made all of this possible. Warm welcome. And she's our community programs coordinator. So I want to say it's good to be here in Milk River, and we want to ensure that today's meeting is a success. And just to say, Chairman, this meeting is not for us. It's for you, the residents of Milk River, to understand exactly how we are funded and how funds are allocated to the different divisions. And so also hear from you about some of the issues you're having in a way that we can address those issues in the coming year. So thanks for having us.
Good. Thank you, CEO. Yes, so we will be speaking to the work that we do and the kind of funding that we have available to undertake those activities. There are other persons, I'm sure, here that need to be introduced. So I'm going to just move along and ask your counselor, Mr. Bailey, to do the welcome, and then he can introduce those other persons that I don't know. Mr. Bailey. You can give him a hand, you know, man.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start off with a scripture, and I'm sure Herschel is not aware of the fact that I might be many things, but you are not aware of the fact that I'm a believer in God. I want to start off with Matthew 18, verse 20. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome everybody to this meeting. From, I don't remember how long this has been going on, where each year the municipal corporation goes into various divisions to outline what we are all about. And I have been asking for a number of years, and not to say I had to bully anyone, but I made it clear that if it is not done in Milk River this year, then. But they decided to come to the beautiful town of Rest. I am a little bit disappointed. Not a little. I'm totally disappointed in the fact that one of the weaknesses we see happening in our communities now is that when meetings like these are called, the ordinary man don't see it fit to participate. But they are the ones who have the most to say. And every time I come to a community meeting, anywhere in my division, I'm seeing the regular people. I'm seeing, like, and I'm going to introduce some now. I'm seeing Miss Diane Somerville, the manager of the Milk River Hotel and Spa, who is a senior member of the CDC in Milk River. Miss Bev Booth, just at the peace, hard-working community member. I see down at the back Miss Navreen Darling, President of the CDC. Miss Valentine. But what I'm most happy about is the fact that I'm seeing persons from Giving a Bit. Because a number of persons, when they see the flyers, have the view that it's a Milk River. And they don't understand that we try to cover the whole Milk River. And I want to acknowledge the presence of Mr. and Mrs. Moulton, Mr. Leroy Reed, Miss Colleen Wallaby, Miss Colleen Anderson. And I hope I've not left off anybody. So being here will allow you who are interested to know, to understand how the municipal corporation operates. Because I think, I'm hoping that after tonight, people will understand that the municipal corporation is not awash with cash. And the councillor is never able to walk into the CEO office or the CFO office or the chief engineering officer office and dip our hands in a barrel full of cash to do things. Because you can't tell some people that we can't access money like that. And tonight will be outlined the way how we get things to do, what we can do and what we can't. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Councillor Bailey. Earlier, what he said sort of sounded like a threat, right? But he didn't say and then what he was going to do. But anyway, we are here, so we won't know what the result is would be. Right. All right. I think it's important to see, I think it's very important that we speak to the budgeting process, how we go about compiling our budget and the process that is engaged. So, CEO, I'm going to ask you to just come and elaborate more on the budgeting process.
Okay. I want to begin by stating that as the local authority, the local government of the parish, our role is to carry out the functions of the parish in the best way possible. And as a municipal corporation, we are responsible for a myriad of things. Many persons say that we are responsible for matters from the womb to the tomb. And I'll tell you why. It's because almost everything that you can think about, we have some responsibility. So the corporation has several departments. And I mentioned to the tomb because we're responsible for cemeteries. So even the last place a person is interred, we have a responsibility for that. We're responsible for poor relief, which is our social welfare arm of the corporation, which deals with assisting persons who are less fortunate. And we do have officers in the area, in Milk River, that covers this area. We have the planning department that deals with approval of building plans, and also to ensure that we have sustainable development. The engineering department, which speaks to maintenance of parochial roads, bridges, ensure all of our buildings are constructed in a safe way. We have the commercial services, which deal with markets and transportation centers and parks. License and compliance, which regulate barbers and hairdressers and butchers and so on. I mentioned that to start because all of those functions are not really money-making functions. Our responsibility as a corporation is to ensure that those services are provided to the citizens of the parish. And so, many times when we try to implement certain strategies, people may think it's a strategy to make some money, but no, it is for the safety of the persons. The first pause and acknowledge His Worship the Mayor and Councillor Joel Williams. Please make him welcome. Now, what we have found is that many of our rates and fees have not been increased for several decades. And so what it means, the corporation has been carrying on most of our services at a deficit. Now, in 2016, we had 3 strategic laws that were passed. And under those laws, it states that we as a corporation, and not only for Clarendon, needs to ensure that we cover our expenditures. And so most of our service should at least be self-sufficient. Now what we find is, just like any household, whenever there's an increase in electricity, water rate is also impact on the corporation because most of our facilities has to still pay those bills. And what you'll find today at today's meeting, the CFO will tell you exactly what our revenues are projected to be. And based on those revenues, what can the corporation do and cover with those revenues? So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is this: the more revenue we get, the more benefit will be derived by the community. And so it is not just for us to present this budget today, but all citizens of the parish need to understand. And if they understand, it means that we have to work hand in hand. It means that you support by being compliant, we collect those revenues, and you should see better infrastructure, better services being provided. What you'll find is that some of the services that we provide, although we pay for those services, they are contracted out to second parties. So, for example, our main funder is our property tax. That's the main source of revenue for the corporation. And when that money is paid, the first person who gets money from that is solid waste to collect for the garbage. So although the property tax pay for the garbage, and it's money from you to us, it's paid to other secondary providers. Street lights are paid straight to JPS. And many persons may complain and say, we don't have enough street lights, but our street light bill for Clarendon is running approximately $14 million per month. And that tells you that it's very important for the corporation to be collecting those revenues to ensure that we can provide additional resources to the community. And when I mentioned earlier that more income will provide better service, I heard a chuckle in the back. But I can tell you that for Clarendon, even at this point, we are maybe the worst performing council in collection of property tax. It means that many communities are not compliant. So a person may not be compliant, but they are still requesting all the services. What you'll understand from today's presentation also is that not everything that you blame the council about is our direct responsibility. So say, for example, for roads, we're responsible for parochial roads. The main roads are not under our purview. So it's very important for you to understand where our roads stop. So when you're judging us, you at least do it accurately. What you'll do, Mr. Chairman, I know I'll come back at the question part to answer relevant questions, but I just wanted to put a framework to you so you understand exactly what we're about. But at the end of the day, it's not us talking down to you. It is us listening. It's us hearing your comments. And after the comments, find out if we can make adjustment to ensure that you, the citizens, are comfortable. Because we're working for you. And we want to ensure that the relationship improves. And that is why the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, under the leadership of Mayor Williams, is saying that we're going to do more town hall meetings. We're going to be out more in the community. So we want the communities to be involved in everything that we do. So when we step out, we want to know the communities behind us, they understand what we're doing. And if you are not satisfied, we want to hear about that too, because we want to adjust what we're doing to make sure that we are comfortable. Because what we want to do is improve communities, ensure that the community members are more empowered to have better communities within the parish of Clarendon. Thank you, Chairman.
All right. Thank you much, CEO. Councillor Bailey has indicated that he omitted to acknowledge Nurse Knight. His apologies. And since we began, I saw our budget officer, Ms. Michelle Brown, enter. Michelle Brown, raise your hand. Good, thanks much. The mayor also entered, and we are going to hand over to him to do his brief greetings. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman of the Finance Committee, Mr. Herschel Brown, At the head table, my colleague Councillor Carlton Bailey, and of course, Mr. Wayne Brown, the man who owns the financial purse of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, and my CEO who have just spoken to you just now, head of the CDC of the Milk River area. Welcome, ma'am. Residents and members of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation who are here with us this afternoon, I greet you well. And I do so against the background of the presentation just made by the CEO of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. That if we're going to give you the kind of service that you require, then we're going to need your help. And your help means you contribute your part as it relates to paying your property tax, your motor vehicle tax, whatever tax is there to be paid. When you have the parties in this area, you make sure you make your contribution as is required by us. Because if that is not done, then it is going to be difficult for us to maintain the services of the various communities across the parish, the drain cleaning, the payment of the street lights, the cleaning of the market, the removal of your garbage. All of those has to be done by paying your tax or playing your part in maintaining, so that we can maintain services that as a local municipal corporation, it's our responsibility to deliver. We're trying our best to do so against the background of challenging time. We know you're going through a lot of challenge in terms of paying some of those taxes. But we are going to ask you, and I'm asking you as the mayor, to do so, because if it is not done, then some of these services we will not be able to do our best as it relates to maintaining and preserving those areas of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. So, ladies and gentlemen, mine is not the task just to bring you greetings this evening. I know we have our chairman here, and the presentation will be made by our Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Wayne Brown, and for point in time, we'll be able to ask the president, we'll be able to peruse the budget that we are here this afternoon to present to you. And after this evening meeting, you should know that we'll take it to finance tomorrow for its final approval, and then we move forward. So I want to thank you for welcoming us here this evening, for inviting you into our university space. I want to thank the council for accepting the invitation to have us in your community this evening. And I hope at the end of this exercise, we will have a very fruitful and productive meeting, one that we will be satisfied with, and when we present the budget tomorrow, it will be accepted. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor. We have with us the property department represented. Mrs. Wilson, we didn't forget you, but we want to leave with us. We have Mrs. Wilson who's with us. She's the president of the Chamber of Commerce and one of our key partners in the development process. Mrs. Wilson, you want to go stand over this here? Thank you so much. Now, where are the points that really became your report? Mr. Wayne Brown and Ms. Steve will speak to us as it relates to what our revenue restrictions are, what our cures activities are, and where we need to improve on collections. Someone who can make some contribution to enhance our service. So without further ado, Mr. Brown, to you.
Mayor Jordan, Councillor Brown, Chairman of the Committee, the Councillor of the Division, so the CEO of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, the leaders of the different groups in this area, all the committee members, to members of staff of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. I also want to extend a very warm welcome to you this evening to make a presentation on the budget, the Clarendon Municipal Corporation budget for 2026. You have known already that my name is Wayne Brown. I'm the Chief Financial Officer. I just want to ask that we pay keen attention, because at the end of this session, there are 3 tokens that I intend to give away. And I'm going to ask you 3 questions will be given. And I'm hoping that someone within this audience will be able to answer. Please take notes. Take notes on every bit of paper that you get. Even, well, I won't say anything. Take notes. All right, so the CEO had mentioned earlier on the process that we will take on to prepare the budget. And just to say that the budget is for the people, not for us. When this budget was put together, it was for you. I also want to welcome those who have joined us and who are joining us online. Yes, I want to welcome those persons, and we will welcome your feedback as we go through and even thereafter. So just to look at public consultation, and we just don't take this thing out of our hands. In fact, the local government financing and financial management act 16, section 4.1 speaks to public consultation that we must have with the people to get feedback from them. And it's been prior to this submitting any strategic plan budget and to the minister for approval under section 3.1D, and the relevant local authority shall ensure that the public is given the opportunity to consider and give feedback on the draft of the strategic plan and budget and proposed to be submitted. And this is exactly what we're doing this afternoon. One of the things that we need to know from people is, well, as I said earlier on, the local authority budget is for you. And the function of the local authority is to carry out designated local services. We are also regulatory oversight of local and social services. We should ensure good civic order. We also engage in disaster preparation, mitigation, and recovery. And we also contribute to and coordinate the preparation of and execution of national plans. Now, so this tells you that we are more of a service-oriented organization. We're not here for the state to make a profit. We would love to make a surplus each year so that we can do more. However, you need to know, and I want the public to know that we are service organization. So we are here to provide services on your behalf. Okay? Because, say for instance, for number 2, regulatory oversight of local and social services, many of us here know that whenever we are building, we are supposed to submit a plan to the local authority for us to look at this, to vet it, and to ensure that we are building to specification. Within this area, in southern Clarendon, we know that it's prone to some form of disaster. We want to ensure that whatever you are building, it can stand up to scrutiny. All right? Let's go forward. So let's get into the details of the matter. So we look at some key assumptions when we were preparing the budget. So we look at oil prices are expected to range between $90 and $100. And we know that oil turned the wheel. Is that true? Oil turned the wheel. All right, so if we don't have oil, I mean, it is going to start from it. It does a lot of stuff. All right, so we have to look at that other assumption also. Oil prices. The global economy has recovered from the effects of COVID, and also we have to look also on the continuous war, which is actually in Ukraine and the Middle East also. Those will have significant impact on our budget. We look at geopolitical risk, rising levels of inflation around the world, and rising food shortages. These are some assumptions. These are some global factors that we will look into when we are preparing the budget. We look at some domestic factors also. Those domestic factors based around us locally, nationally. And we look at the exchange rates, we are saying that this will be the impact of disaster, natural disaster, it could have significant impact on the economy. We will see in recent times, what everybody has done to us, especially in this area. It does have an impact on our economy. And I would say last but not least, that we still struggle with the crime level within our parish. And if that is not contained, then we're going to find out that person want to do business within Clarendon. So all of those factors were taken into consideration. So this is the big thing now. So we have a budget which are presenting to you this evening, or proposing to you this evening, which was already proposed to our finance committee for $2.1 billion. $2.1 billion is the proposed budget, expenditure budget for 2026. And this $2.1 billion, it covers compensation of employees. Remember that we are providing services. And we need people to provide services. All right? We need people. So the CEO is here. The CEO is the one who will lead the charge administratively. And he has to be the one who busy creating some policies and to ensure that the policies of council can be implemented and this team. So compensation of employees, travel and subsistence, public utilities, purchases of goods and services, retirement benefits, awards and indemnities, grants and contributions, purchases of and equipment, land and structures. So our expenditure budget, these are the items that falls under that particular subject. So I want to break it out a little bit more. So these are the activities that comprise the $2.1 billion. So the general administration, the amount which has been proposed is $782,210,850. That's $782,210,850. So that is what is being proposed for general administration. And general administration would have been, the departments, persons who we are entrusted to carry out the functions to ensure that council can operate efficiently and effectively. General administration, all right? Compliance and enforcement amounts to another $111,506,033. And it is important that we have enforcement and compliance within the parish, because where there is no enforcement, then there is no order. This encapsulates civic order. So when you see our municipal police officers out there trying to get order within the streets of Maypen and other towns, remember that they have to be paid. Remember that we are providing service. It's all about providing services. Commercial services. And when we talk about commercial services, we're talking about our transportation centers and our markets. Now remember, we need to have persons within those areas to take care of those areas. We need the market clerks and to collect the money from those persons who are willing to pay, all right? We have to have the market clean, all right? We have to have the market clean and the garbage to be collected, okay? We have to have structure in the market to ensure that when you go into the market to shop, you can come out feeling good, don't you, Miss Ashley? All right. And our transportation centers, we know that there are challenges with regards to our transportation centers, but I want to tell you that, the corporation is doing whatever it can at this time to ensure that our transportation centers, they are more accessible and that you can travel without much of an hindrance. I know that you have challenges, especially in town of Maypen, but remember that we are getting there. And I know that there are plans ahead. There are plans ahead to put in place other transportation centers as we go on and to improve on what we have. Public cleansing and garbage and disposal. Now, this is an amount that has to be paid to solid waste for the year for the collection and disposal of garbage. So we have to make provision for it. And further down, you will realize how important property tax is. In fact, this year would have mentioned it earlier on, because it is from the amount that you pay for property tax, then public cleansing is being paid. Parks and beautification, $79.2 million. And just to say that the corporation has taken on, you know, a big thing. We are big on beautification. I know that there's a lot more to be done, but we are big on beautification. And we would have made an allocation of $79.2 million for beautification for 25-26. And we are hoping that in the coming year, we'll be able to put in more beautification spaces within the different divisions. Public water is what we would refer to as sandpipes. And I know that that's a very small amount, $1,280,000, but in some areas, we have, they still depend on standpipes, you know, for water. Street lights, $170 million. I know that it has been, you know, it is a call from everyone. Everyone wants street lights, street lights, street lights. So $170 million is being put aside for that. And just to say that, this amount maybe just represent just a part of what we would normally pay out for street lights. It's much more than that. Road maintenance, $364,682,927. And road maintenance is the amount that is used during the year to maintain or rehabilitate parish council roads. Now, we know that this amount is not adequate. It's not adequate at all. But I want to reemphasize the point this evening that please to tell your neighbor and your friends to pay their licensing fee within the parish. I'm going to represent again. So there are some of us who might work in Kingston. So instead of going to the tax office in Mayben to pay your licensing fee, you'll find somewhere which is a little bit more convenient to pay your licensing fee. But guess what? When you do that, that money doesn't come to Clarendon. Doesn't come to Clarendon. It stays wherever you pay it. So I want to encourage all the citizens within Clarendon to pay your motor vehicle license in the parish. Because if you pay it in Spanish Town, it stays in Spanish Town. If you pay it in Mandeville, it stays in Mandeville. It does not come to Clarendon. Now what it does, we are going to get less money, you know, for road maintenance. Because guess what? The amount that you pay or the amount that is being paid or what is collected for motor vehicle license, a portion of that money comes back to the parish for road maintenance. So please pay your license, your motor vehicle license in the parish. For police services, an amount of $309,240,703 has been allocated or proposed for police services. And police services, you know, it involves our infirmary, it involves our outdoor poor. I know that many of you here might know the police officers within the area. So this amount is being proposed to fund that particular activity per year. Minor water supply, $31,532,329. And minor water supply, we have those minor water supplies system mostly in the more rural areas, like in Clarendon, where they have like tanks and springs and catchment. So we actually maintain those areas. Remember, as I said earlier on, services we offer. We are service oriented. And there is a cost to provide services. All right, let's move on. So you might be asking us how we are going to fund this $2.1 billion. How are we going to fund it? This is a breakdown. So we're expecting $1.1 billion to come from the PRF. And the PRF is a fund set up by government to receive amount from property taxes and motor vehicle license. So we're expecting to get $1.1 billion from that fund to offset the related expenditure in the budget. We are also expecting to generate $200.8 million from general revenue. We are also expecting to generate $113.2 million from self-financing services. And we are also expecting to get $519.8 million from the government grants or from the consolidated funds. So this is exactly how we expect to finance the budget for 2025-2026. And just to give you just revenue analysis, we see that majority of the financing we expect to get it from PRF, where, another 33% we expect to get from grants from the Consol Fund. Self-financing just amount to another 5%, and general revenue 9%. Just to say that the corporation should be financing, is it 10%, Michelle? 10% of its budget each year. If you realize here, we are just at 9%. Just at 9%. Let me continue. So as I was saying earlier on, this is just a breakdown of the PRF. We call it PRF. The fund consists of revenue from the foreign sources, property tax, and motor vehicle license. All right, I know this chair would have mentioned some of these already, but the uses of the PRF, the Parochial Revenue Fund, solid waste management, street lighting, minor water supply, public water, parks and beautification. It is used to offset administrative expenses and road maintenance. So this is the use of the PRF. This is what it is used for. The general revenue. These are funds that are received at the local level. And all of us inside of this room and those who are watching, you have a part to play in all of this. Building and subdivision fees. So those persons who are building without their permits, we are inviting you to come and make good. You can reach out to the planning department and they will take you through the roofs. All right, so please, building and so we know that there are many persons out there who are building without plans. And we are encouraging you to come in to submit your plan, because when you don't do that, we will not be able to provide the services that you're asking for. Trade license, part of our general revenues. And there are many persons who are operating businesses. You're trading. You are trading. And, you know, and funny it is, there are some persons that when you work it out, they are only supposed to pay $5,000 and they don't pay it any at all. We are inviting persons to come to pay your dues for the services that you are anticipating and that you need. Barbers and hairdressers. May I say that there are many persons who are operating without the required license. And still, you're expecting to get certain services. You want to get the street clean, you want certain services, but yet we can't provide those services as you would want to, because there's a part that you're supposed to be playing and you're not playing it. Public amenities, and that speaks to our sanitary convenience. We want our sanitary convenience, and to be in tip-top shape. But it is sad to say, Mayor, that there are many persons who uses these sanitary convenience, and and when they go in in these areas, if that they leave it into a mess. They don't take care of these areas. All right, so we are asking persons to pay their dues. Place of amusement, and these are persons who need to get permits to have events, all events. So you to come in and you need to apply for these permits. Advertising and billboard fines are part of our general revenue. Litter fines, butcher's license. So all of these were used, they are used to assist with our operations. They are used to offset the services that we are offering. Self-financing services. And these self-financing services, they are our markets, cemeteries, transportation centers, and animal home. And I know that many of us here would want our markets, to be in very, very good condition. And we are appealing to persons. You might be a vendor here. No, not a vendor here or a higgler here. And there are times, you give the collector a hard time. And to collect, we are imploring you that when the collectors come to collect, just pay the liquor money. Just pay the liquor money. Isn't so, Mr. Ashley? Pay the liquor money, man. All right? And once you pay, we can guarantee that you will get the services that you deserve. If each vendor in the market pay their due share, Chairman, I am sure that we'll be able to do far more in our markets. Cemeteries, transportation centers, and animal pound. So these are commercial services, and it is expected that these areas are, as I said, self-financing. So we should really be recovering on the costs, in offering these services. Yeah, you can move on. And government grants. So government grants, these are funding that we get from the consolidated fund each year, and it is used to fund pensioners, infirm, poor leave, indoor and outdoor. All right. So here it is now. Revenue sources, and these are the projections. These are the projections for 2025-2026. So the proposal is that we intend or expect to collect $694,943,417 for property tax for 2025-26. So we are expecting that every single one within this room, and I'm hoping that those of us inside this room who owns property, you would have made your payment already, even for the first quarter or the second quarter. And I just want to say at this time, Mr. Chairman, for the division of Milk River, there are 866 registered properties for this area. However, as at yesterday, the amount outstanding for Milk River is $47,716,206.70. That is what the arrears for Milk River. So it is important that Milk River Division, we know, yes, Milk River Division, $47 million. All right? Now, can you imagine if we collect this $47 million, Mr. Mayor, what more it could be used for within Milk River Division? So it's very important, as I said, that this is a collaborative effort. And if you don't do your part, it's going to be difficult for us to do what we need to do. $47 million. Motor vehicle license fees, $415,500,000. So this is what has been proposed to be collected for motor vehicle license. And as I said earlier on, that this can be much better if we all pay our motor vehicle registration within the parish. Trade license, $40 million we expect to collect. And in a recent survey, it was recognized that there are only 1,813 registered businesses in the parish. 1,813. But the data that we would have collected, Mr. Chairman, from a recent YSEP program would have suggested, I think, over 8,000 registered businesses within the area. Within Clarendon, by the way. All right? So I know that we are losing big time in that area. However, we are proposing to collect $40 million within that area. Building and subdivision, we are proposing to collect $80 million from that source of revenues. And this $80 million is based on our people of Clarendon, their compliance. So we're encouraging persons to make good. Come and submit your plans. Rental of properties, the corporation, we do have properties which we rent, and we're expecting to get $16 million from that source of revenue. Barbers and hairdressers, we're expecting to collect $5 million, and we are wrapping up that program. We are doing a lot of enforcement within that area. So we're asking each and every one that whenever you see these persons come out to see you, just be compliant, come in and regularize. Butcher's license, $600,000. Place of amusement, $35 million. And what we have found out, Mr. Chairman, that over a few years, this amount, it fluctuates a lot. And one of the main reasons why at times we are not able to meet our target is because of the crime within the parish. The crime within the parish. So I want to implore everyone inside of this room and within the diaspora, everywhere. I think we need to just chill. Yes, and let us do what we have to do. The one service, the one services, we need to ensure that we do what we need to do. Parking fines, $3.6 million. And even though parking fines, we don't really see it as it's a revenue item. However, it is more of an enforcement. All right. So this is where persons, if you park anywhere, which is a no parking area, in fact, you're going to get clamped. All right. Numbering fees. And this is an item that maybe not many persons are familiar with. Numbering fees is called civic numbering. All right. And this is a project that we intend to take on during the next year. I believe the CEO or the chairman will give you more information on that, or our planning person will give you more information on that. Litter fines, $300,000. Water rates, $1.5 million. And you might be asking, we call it water rates? Yes, we do call it water rates. These are from our minor water supply systems in in the more rural or in Upper Clarendon, all right? And it is not water commission rates. It's a flat rate that we collect each month. Okay, all right, billboard and encroachment. So we do collect, for billboard, also encroachment. Commercial services, $113,275,310. We expect to collect for commercial services. And for government grants, we intend to get funding from government, from the Consult Fund, of $689,867,792. So we do seek other funding. We do seek other fundings from time to time. We seek funding from the Equalization Fund. And this is a fund which is set up within the Ministry of Local Government, where a portion of the property tax is being withheld. And the corporation can request funding from that fund. After we would have, through resolution of council, sent to the minister for approval. All right? And we also, from time to time, we have our leader officer, we have our project officers, we have our chief engineering officer will prepare like proposal to send to other agencies like TPD, TF, NHF, to seek funding, to take on projects within the parish. Remember that we seek the funding, it is not necessarily that we will get it, all right? Because, it's one pool of fund and there are other entities, other groups, that they're trying to access fund from these same groups, all right? And we also get, capital B funding. These are received from the Consultation Fund for special projects, mostly infrastructure projects. So I know that many of the citizens within this area would want to know what the division is entitled to. Maybe you want to know how much the councillor get to spend. All right? I want it to be noted that there is one dedicated source of fund that councillors get an allocation from. And that is really from the parochial revenue fund, mostly from the road maintenance. So road rehab project within all 22 divisions is taken on for the entire year. For the 22 division for the year. Each division is allocated $3,500,000 per division to carry out this project at least 2 times for the year. I think it was a CEO or someone who mentioned that many persons might believe that the corporation is loaded with cash. It is not like that. Remember that we are here to provide service. $3.5 million, so amounting to $7 million, for the year that a division will get for road rehabilitation. Also, they are given an amount, mostly, I would say between $1.5 or $2 million, for drain cleaning. And they might get that 2 times for the year. And I want to say again that it is dependent on the amount of money that we get from the PRF. All right? Because in fact, our PRF, it fluctuates each month. So it's not you might, 1 month you might get $20. Another month you might just get $15. It fluctuates because it's based on the inflow into that particular fund. Drain cleaning is carried out in each division. It is 2 times during the financial year. And what we try to do is to have continuous upgrading of minor water supplies and system within the parish, even though the funding is very, very limited. So we have some major capital projects that we intend to take on for the year. And it's the construction of a proposed transportation centers in Chapelton in front of the Inland Revenue Department and the upgrading of the Veer Transportation Center. All right, so I just want to make an adjustment to this. It's Chapelton, Kelly's, all right, it should be Kelly's. And we are looking at the construction of a transportation center just in front of the Inland Revenue in Mayfair. All right, so that is far in process, and we're hoping that it will come on stream early next year. And this will actually aid in the transportation who's within the town center. Financing of a new cemetery to replace the Demde Cemetery. And I believe that most of us would have known by now that in fact the Demde Cemetery is, should I say closer? It is at a capacity at this moment, right? It is now at a capacity, and we are now actively seeking, allocation for that cemetery. I believe the mayor or the CEO might speak to that, later on. And upgrades to our market areas. Upgrade to our market areas, we spoke about that earlier on. And we're looking to construct 2 engineered houses for next year. And a very important piece of document, which is very critical to the parish, and it is our disaster plan. That is very, very critical. And we are seeking to get capital funding so that that disaster plan can be done and also implemented. So, what's our role as citizens? What's our role as a people? paying your property taxes, paying the various user fees applicable to you. So if you're going to have a dance, if you're going to have a party, come and apply for the permit. If you're a hairdresser, if you're even operating, what's that? If you're operating on your veranda, come and apply for the individual license. Isn't that so, Ms. Warren? Yes. Trade license, those of you who have shops, bars, we are imploring you to come and to get registered, come get licensed. Come and get licensed, because if you don't, and I believe it is so unfair to the corporation that so many persons are demanding these services, and yet the user fees that is so minuscule, you don't want to pay it. I believe it's rather unfair. I'm going to tell you, I go to the barber every week. Every week I go to the barber, and even though you see my head, look, every week I go to, because you see, I am trying, CEO, to get rid of the gray hair. Because when you do not pay the requisite fees, no, I sit in my office trying to make ends meet. So you allow me to have to go to the barber every single week. And when I go to the barber every week, I pay $3,000. One person, I pay $3,000, nurse. So for the month, I pay over $12,000. And what is the cost for a barber's fee? How much? $2,500 for the year. For the year. $2,500 for the year. And I can tell you, I won't even go the route of our ladies, because when my wife is going to the hairdresser, I have to ensure that I give her $15,000 to do her hair. And how much is it, Ms. Warren? $3,000 for the year. $3,000 for the year. And yet we have persons who are reluctant to come and to pay their dues. And it is not only that, there are also public health, implication also. Okay, so I want to implore persons, pay your dues. You want the services, pay your dues. Pay your dues will improve garbage collections, more street lights, maintaining of green areas, beautifications activities, in general, improve services. So I just want to implore all the citizens of Clarendon, because even though we're in this locality, I know that we are streaming live, and I want everyone to know. And I'm closing. The way forward, it should be noted that these projections can only be achieved with the full cooperation of all citizens within the local authority. The members of staff, we are ready and willing to carry out the duties and our political directorate. So that is my presentation to you. I believe that by now, all of us, if we have not paid our property taxes, you can talk to Rasheen around the back there, go Go see her tomorrow morning. Miss Warren is over there for those, barbers and hairdressers. You can go see her. All right? Thank you so much. Before, Madam, Mr. Chairman, I have the three questions that I want to. We have the three gifts here. Sir. And this is not for staff members, only for the citizens. No, it's just for the citizens. Sir, I'm going to ask you please to be the judge, sir. Just raise your hands when the question is being asked. How many registered properties are in Middle Division? Nurse, I'm going to invite the mayor to make the presentation to you. One of those baskets. 866. Yes, you're correct. Councillor Bailey, please come, sir. Next question. What is the amount that we expect to generate from general revenue? Yes, could you say? Oh, wonderful. Yes, sir. Sorry. Councillor Bailey, could you do this presentation? Last one. Name one general revenue activities. And I'll ask the CEO to make this presentation. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Let us give Mr. Brown another round of applause. Although he was trying to change the agenda, I don't know why. Anyway, I want to acknowledge the presence of Councillor Cian Barneswell and also Inspector Robinson. Welcome, welcome. If you remember what Mr. Brown said, the delinquency is extreme. He said that a survey was conducted recently and we identified over 8,000 traders. And you remember how many say it's paying? Anybody remember? 1,800. That's about 20%. Right? That's not good enough. That's definitely not good enough. Let us give Mr. Brown another round of applause. He's also a preacher, so that's why he did such a good job. All right, so the questions, I'm sure, is going to be coming. Let us take the questions. Yes, sir. You want to? Okay. Oh, yes.
Okay, no. For the question session, the floor is open to all residents, all citizens. Just some ground rules. We expect that when you stand to ask the question, state your name and the community that you are from, and then we will try to answer the question. Let us prevent the back talking so that we can ensure that we have very good discussion. Chairman, also know that we have some questions online, and we'll try to respond to those questions accordingly. So I turn back over to the chair.
We have another mic. We have another mic? Yes, sir. We'll take your question.
Good evening, everybody. My apologies, I heard about this meeting with late, so I joined late, but unfortunately, I caught some of it. In terms of the outstanding taxes and terms of fees and so on. Oh, yeah, but there were costs, sorry. There were costs of balance growth. I don't know if you spoke about educational drive to our campaign to educate these persons. That to be told, to be honest, not a lot of them understand that these fees are to be paid, what's the benefits of paying these fees, and so on. So I happen to represent JN Bank, and we deal with a lot of micro entrepreneurs, thousands, and we do our part to try to get them to be regularized. And in interacting with them, we realize a lot of them are very informal, and they are doing nothing. They're being very entrepreneurial Jamaican spirit, but they're not as educated about these things. So I'm hoping that the initial measures will be draconian to run after chase other people and lock them up at the court, but educating them first and getting compliance. We have been partnering with the health center as well as parish councils across Jamaica to get our clients to go to the food and sessions, the barber, the hairdressers to go to the health session and pay the fees. But we would like to extend that in Clarendon so we can arrange. So sometimes the persons, they are their businesses and they don't get a chance to leave their business to go to these sessions. Sometimes we can arrange for us to go to them, right, and get a group of persons and train them up and educate them and collect the fees on the spot instead of the big whip kind of approach. So that's my contribution.
All right, so he's speaking about our educational process and that people might not know what their responsibilities are. The CEO will take that with another question. Name, community.
Good afternoon, Beverly Booth, Milk River Community Credit District. Okay, I wear a lot of hats. JP, member of the CDC, SDC. And I'm sort of disappointed because yes, you're speaking to others, but for this space, I thought that it would have been broken down somewhere. My first question is, have you identified a location for the pound in the parish? Because we are suffering from stray cows and other animals. I did not know we have cows that does high jump. What they do, they could represent us at the Olympics. I stood and saw them jump my high fence into my property. And it's getting out of control. Schools are having problems. Children are walking in mess on the roads. It's disastrous. So we need to know when the pound will be in place. The property tax payment, if it is done online, do the municipality get it based on the location of the property? And including the car payment, all the other payments we do online. The Milk River division, I saw where you said 47 million was allocated to the division. Was good. Okay. Well, I can say that the police, public health, the justices of the peace, the CDC, we try to educate the residents of the Milk River community, especially even the bar persons. I'm tired to sign documents for them to take to you guys to pay their fees for their, not burial, their drink out and so on. I think half of the funds you raise at the municipality come from this space. And I say it without apology. So those are my few for now.
Thank you much. CEO, you want to address those?
So let me begin by telling Ms. Booth that you're wrong about half of the revenues from Milk River. If you are correct. So Let's start here. Just want to also state that Dr. Edward Wright, who is streaming from overseas, also asked about the plan to deal with stray animals. So I just want to respond to that. Take some time to respond to that question. We do have a pound in the parish, and that pound is in Chapter. And as a matter of fact, it is utilized. There are a few things that we need to note. And one is that individuals can also pound animal and bring to the pound. But the corporation is responsible for stray animals on our roadway. So what this means, if you're a farmer and a stray animal comes on your property, you have the right to impound that animal by taking the animal to the pound. As related to stray animals on our streets, the corporation has taken that situation very serious. And we're moving forward to improve on our pound. And just to note, to you, Ms. Booth, and also to Dr. Wright, just last week, we met with it's the Deputy Superintendent of Police to have this matter resolved, because we know the increase in number of cattle on our roadways. Even last week, there was an incident on TVJ News, an accident. Today, we had another one. What are the challenges we're having? We do have a pound. But one of the challenges we're having is that many persons are afraid to catch the animals. And so what the corporation has done, we have advertised, we have reached out asking for catchers to be employed, which are having some difficulties. The good thing is that some of them are afraid for their lives. So what we have done, we have met with JSAFE and we have worked out a protocol. And what is the protocol? The JSAFE will be going along with these catchers to ensure that they provide security for these persons. So we should see an improvement in this, with this problem. We should see an improvement, and we expect, we are working out the framework to be signed by both the CMC and the JSAFE, and our legal officer as that dealing with at this point. As soon as that is completed, you will see us moving full steam ahead to get those cattle off our roadways. And I want to use this medium also to implore those farmers without a farm. Because what we are finding is that many persons who are saying that they are farmers don't have any farm. So they have cattle and no place to put the cattle, so they let them out on the streets in the morning. And we're saying to those persons that we're coming for you. We're going to get those cows, we're going to impound them. We're also trying to ensure that everything is in place at the pound to receive those persons. And the JCF is fully on board with that matter. I want to respond to the property tax question that was asked and public education, not just property tax, but also permits and all the fees. We have improved our PR strategy. And so we have been trying different measures to ensure that members of the community know exactly what are the requirements of corporation. So we have improved on our social media pages, that's one of the media that we use. There are times that we use notices, we use phone criers, and we also utilize medium like these to have community meetings to explain to citizens what is exactly his requirement. We do have numerous, out stations, and we do have out stations in Milk River, so that the citizens of Milk River, instead of coming to the tax office in Maypen, the bus that comes to Milk River, they can just go to that bus to pay the proper taxes. So we have been trying all of those mediums. What we have also ensured is that persons who have a difficulty in paying it, we give them a payment plan. So it doesn't mean that you have to come today to pay everything that you owe on property tax. We'll ensure that we give you a plan that makes it easy to pay it over time. So we're trying to reach to the residents to ensure that we facilitate them in making them compliant. Ms. Booth also asked about the question of property tax being paid online. Once the property tax is paid, that money will come to the corporation. The problem we have though, for motor vehicle license, anywhere you license those vehicles, that's the parish that benefits. So when we have persons in Milk River go to Mandeville at the tax office to register their vehicle, the parish of Manchester get that revenue, not us. So we're saying to residents, try to do those type of businesses within the parish, because it means that you may be helping another parish to develop while not realizing that your parish is being starved. There's another question. Mr. Brown, you have to answer for that? Well, I don't have that answer for that question, but I'll get that and you'll be notified. We have two more questions around here. Oh, Councillor Bailey also want to speak on the phone.
Ms. Booth mentioned accident with cover. One of the things we need to understand, that is not the only difficulty we are going to go through where stray animals is concerned. There's an issue affecting Gravel Hill right now, where the post office, what's the name again? Post and Telecommunication, they are threatening to lock down the Gravel Hill postal agency because stray animals on the property and doing all kind of damage to the property. The communities now need to understand that they can't operate in a selfish way, because if that is closed down, I am not worried about the young people, because them use them phone and them get them mails and get them information or whatever. What about the old people who have to depend on the postal agency for their pension, to get them letter or whatever? So we need to spread the word and encourage, because some of the things them know, we need to take them up as a community, you know, and see how best we can reason with some of these people and say, listen, this is going to affect us in a very negative way. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bailey. Just another note, please. We have one mic. So what I'm going to ask you to do, when you're asked the question, please just come up and use this mic and then just pass it so we can, because I want all persons to hear the questions. Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Leroy Richards from the Given CDC. Yes, Mr. Chairman, I hear your outline that you is an organization for delivery. So I was saying, and I hear an impact where you say if the people pay their tax in another parish, the other parish got all the credit. So why not initiate an incentive flag and say for in Clarendon, if we collect 50 million in a given region, we will get this fix or that fix. A certain amount will be returned back. That will also garner the people for more interest in paying within their division. That's one question. The next one now, for the council. At times, person within the space always give the council a warm time. But if you notice the geography from Gimebe to come to Melkaba, and here it is only 3.5, though that's making 7 million. So I just would like to know the scope of the work that 7 million entails. Is it just the road between Gimebe or the road between Melkaba?
Let me, all right, you can have a seat now. It's okay. All right, so I'll answer the first question first, and then the councillor will answer the next one, although I see he's eager to answer the question first. All right, so as it relates to incentives, we do have an incentive program at the corporation. And what we have been doing for the past, how many years? About 5 years. The most, more than that. Councillor Barnes is saying more than that because I think when he was mayor, we started that program. What we have is that every year, the most compliant communities gets funding to do a community project for each collectorate. So we have 3 collectorates in the parish. We have the Lionel Town for South, which you would fall under, Central, which is Mapen, and Chapton for another. But this year, no, it doesn't matter where you pay it in the parish, but we'll pick up what community is more compliant. For its last financial year, or this last financial year, it was Lionel Town who got the most compliant for South. And so what we do each year, the most compliant community gets funding, which the council is not even involved in that funding and how it is spent. It's a community group that sits and decides what community project they want to do with that project. So I'm just saying, Milk River tried to win it this year. Lionel Town got it this year. Lionel Town proper got it this year. Was the year before, I think it was Sandy Bay. For Sandy Bay. So the community will get $200,000 that is given to the CDC to do a community project. So we do have that program. And if we get more money, we can increase that amount. Let me ask, I'll ask Councillor. All right. So that's what I'm saying. I said to you, Ms. Wood, these meetings are avenues to get information out. Because what we recognize is that because we have different people and different interests in each community, we can't use one medium to get information out. So we do several things. We do our council meetings, we give reports, we provide online services, the mayor does press briefing. So there are different mediums, but we also intend that to go to every single division to have community meetings. So every member of the community can get information, not through the councillor, not through the mayor, but straight from the corporation. So that is something that we are doing. So Ms. Wood, you didn't know last night, now you know. So I'm saying, and next week somebody else is going to know because we're going somewhere else. And we keep going around. I'll ask Councillor Bailey to respond to the question really.
Mr. Richards, before I touch Mr. Richards, I want to clear a small point. During Mr. Brown's presentation, he made mention of allocation coming to the councils. Allocation don't come to councils. It comes to the division. And the most I can do is to make a recommendation in terms of its road, recommend which road is drained, recommend which. In terms of, because I know when I heard Mr. Brown say, say a lot of people are going to start wrap up them head around this 7 million, right? So let me tell you something. There is no scope of work that I can talk to you about, right? Because when this whole allocation coming to division started years ago, we started off with 350,000. And over time, based on what is coming into the council, we were able, so it has reached $3.5 million per allocation. In order to stretch that, we used to do the roads chip and spray. But what we found out, chip and spray in our last 6 months in most cases, we have now reached a stage where we have decided. Wait name again, asphalt in concrete, what we call Baba Green. The reality now is that Baba Green, the distance that we would have gotten for the 3.5, which normally work out to about 300 meters, we can get that amount with Baba Green. Okay. So, like the other day, I did some work in Gimel. Survive Street, bad condition. and we were hoping the allocation of 3.5 would have taken care of all of the bad spots. We fell short. And lo and behold, the only thing you hear people that talk about the councillor robbing the money. The councillor can't rob no money. And anything anybody want to find out what is being done in the Milk River Division, they can go to Mr. Brown or Mr. Blake at the parish council and ask for a breakdown of how the money is spent. I mean, I'm glad we don't do that, because when it is done and you prove how the money is spent, then now it would give me an opportunity to do what I have to do to clear my name. But the reality is, $7 million not much. And that you know that, but you come ask it like you don't know. Right? Yeah. So there is no scope of work that I can stand here and give. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bailey. So what I want to state is this. We don't usually get involved in the deep community strategy. You know, you resolve your issues. But what we can say is that we encourage the CDC and members of the committee to be involved in the whole governance process. So nothing is wrong with asking the question, but because it's very important for you to know exactly what is going on, because there are times when you are the one who would have to carry the message to someone else. So we really appreciate that. There are a couple of other questions that I want to respond to before we take another question. These are online questions. This person is overseas and is online and is asking what plans does the CMC have to increase and grow Clarendon and by extension the Jamaica's economy. And I want to respond by saying this. Many times when you listen comments from persons, it may seem it's very disappointing, because many times people act as if nothing is happening. The truth is, lots, Councillor Bailey, is in the pipeline, and lots is also being done for the parish of Clarendon. So let me speak a little bit about economic growth and expansion. As it is now, based on our advantage in location, Clarendon has seen an increase in residential developments. So what we have is many persons who are from Kingston and St. Catherine are moving out into Clarendon to reside. With that increase in population comes opportunities for growth. At this moment, I can say to you, a development plan was drafted for the parish with our strategies to increase in economic growth. And I want to say to you also that a new city is being planned for Clarendon. And we have been having discussions with the NHG and other stakeholders for the development of that new city. So, a smart city. So, we expect that with increase in population will be the need for the demand for the services, which will increase in the economy of the parish. And so what you may have seen is that you can see right now with your own eyes the growth of Maple moving out into the Denby area, moving over to mineralized area, so you can see that with your own eyes. But apart from that, there are some major economic indicators that we are trying to push. One is that the parish was very dependent on bauxite. And we all know what happened with bauxite. The parish was very dependent on sugarcane. You know what happened with that. But what we can tell you, the outlook for the bauxite in the parish right now is better. And we expect to see some economic growth from bauxite. The development of agro-parks. The development of agro-parks is something that we are also pushing and supporting with the Ministry of Agriculture. And you know about those agro-parks in Ramsbury and Southern, Spring Plains and so on. But apart from that, the CMC, the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, through the leader officer, has continued the program of youth development youth empowerment. So we do a lot of training of youth. We try to teach them about growing their own business because what we want is more entrepreneurs in the parish. And I want to also refer to the Burnham Field proposal, which is not dead. So we are expecting, it's not dead. We are expecting that to be a major game changer for the parish of Clarendon. But not only that, to Dr. Wright and the other members overseas, I want to say to you that we in Clarendon, we are promoting tourism within the parish. And the TMC have stepped forward with leasing property in Salt River to ensure that we develop the Salt River Spa. I know the CMC through TPD and the mayor and the MP. We also did some work in Farka Beach. We realized the erosion of the beach and in Farka, and we have invited NEPA to come down to see how best we can assist in those areas. So what we're trying to do is nature tourism, local tourism in all of the south coast of Clarendon, and we are promoting those. So there are a number of economic game changers that we are pushing from the corporation. So that is the answer to that question. Dorothy, she stated that she's from Longsville Park, but she wants to ask a question. She wants to know what we're doing about the overgrown lots within the housing scheme. And we want to say to you that we have just gotten a legal directive from our lawyer, and we have also approved our strategy at the Public Health Committee in how we deal with these persons who fail to debush their residential lots. And what we are doing, we are now serving notices on these persons. And if they don't comply, we will clean those properties and then lodge a caveat against their property. And they themselves will have to compensate us for the work that we do. Another question was asked online, and that was to do with the smell of coal and other goat pen and other things within the community. And we have had a number of complaints in Milk River on that. Let me put it in perspective. There are two things. If a property is known as agriculture, it means that those persons have a right to rear their animals. So sometime when you go and build your house on a farm, you can't then come to the corporation and complain that the farm don't smell too nice. Because it's you who have encroached on the farm. But what we do, no matter what the complaint is, we always do an investigation. Because even if it's within an agricultural property, they need to still provide, ensure that the public health standards are adhered to. So whenever a complaint comes in, the members from the Ministry of Health would visit the location, and if the practice is not hygienic, notices will be served against those persons. But I say that also to say that some of you are very unfair also when you expect that you go beside a person's folk to build their house and then complain. Even when, because no matter how clean it is, it's never going to be without an order. Just want to put that. No, what we are saying is that there are two things. All right, so let me explain to you. Ladies and gentlemen, even if you have a difference of opinion, I just want to ensure that you understand what I'm saying. If you are living in a residential area, it means that certain type of activities is not permissible for that development. So if you live in a housing scheme like Pretty, we don't expect a person to put a cow pen and a lot in Pretty because that lot, the covenant on your lot definitely says residential. But we're also saying, if you go on a property that the covenant says agriculture, you have to expect that agricultural use will be permitted on that area. All right? Is there another question in the audience, or I should go to one more of the online question? All right, there's a person at the back. Let me take that person first. I've not heard from her as yet. Just walk up and come near to me and come on, don't stay too far.
Good evening. My question is that I'm from the district of, give me a minute. I have a little shop at my yard, and I go to the tax office to pay my tax, my shop tax. And the lady looked at me and said to me, say, you must go online to pay your taxes. I am saying to you people, there are many people in, me talk about myself. We don't know nothing about go online, go pay no tax. Because it puzzles me because last time there's a lady come by, Miss Jennings, come by my house and they pay that one. But I don't know nothing about online, pick up online because me had that up online, pick up your property tax. So me don't like you people to visit the area then indicate people how what we can do for pay with tax because some of we don't know nothing about no online business. Like we said.
All right. Just to respond to that question, that matter deserves an investigation because what I can tell you is that trade license is not paid online. Trade license is not paid online. When you go to the tax office, you should fill out a form and then pay that trade license. I'm not sure who she spoke to. So obviously you were misled. But we'll do our investigation. I'm going to ask you to speak to Ms. Maraj, and she will basically guide you in that process. Ms. Booth has another question. Come forward, Ms. Booth.
Okay, it's about this property. I have.
Please, let us be very respectful. All questions are important. And I don't want to leave tomorrow people giving different information that is not even true. So let us just focus so we can respond to the questions that are asked.
Okay, thank you. This property was given, we leased it from the National Land Agency. We are the CDC. We do the same thing. We give service, we don't earn. And we have to be paying $26,000 annually for this space. And I must say to the mayor, at the time he was not in that capacity. Yeah.
Yes, I'm saying that when we first leased, it was 12,000, and then it was raised again because it was raised for a couple of years. Then it doubled to 24, and then it's now 26. And as you see, it's not a lot of persons coming to meeting, and plus difficulty even paying dues. So it's a big strain on us. So we'd like some relief. And I'm saying it's supposed to pay the 1st of September each year. And if we are a couple of days delayed, then we get a letter and we have to pay the penalty of $1,000. So it will reach 27. No, the lease is 26, but the penalty, if the lease is delayed, even by a couple of days, once it passes the 1st of September. Because originally I thought once I paid in September, then, because it's September, but it's the 1st of the month, and if you pass the date, quick time that you get the support. So we like relief. What can be done as we're not generating funds?
The other thing is that we also get the notice to pay property tax. How can we be paying property tax for something we are paying on this for? It's not our property. And I had to take it to the regional, but I was in Manhattan, to the regional first. So I don't know if it is the bill sent from your property tax office, because it was the property tax regional person in Manhattan I spoke to, and she has to do it, and it keeps coming every year. We don't pay property tax, we don't send it back to us. And just a recommendation, I'm asking that the CDC, because they're very active in the community, that when you are doing projects or other activities in the space, that you will include us in the plan, because they just say that you're doing some fun and they're not aware. We have persons coming to the CDC who represent our college. So we'd like to be involved in your planning process.
Thank you, Ms. Boo. Let me respond to the last thing you said first. For us, we do have a structure we work through. And our structure is that everything we do, the PDC is a part of our discussions, and also the SDC. So what we thought there was that by engaging the SDC and the PDC, the information would have been going down to the CDC. Now that we know that there may be an issue, we'll try to also relate, we'll try different measures to ensure that we get information. You want to?
Listen, and I'm wondering whether or not CEO will not need to engage probably twice or 3 times for the year the CDC groups, meeting with them within our chamber. And I'm listening to what is your playing a pivotal role within the space. So we need to engage you more rather than going through any entity. I'm going to suggest that that be a part of our operation.
Okay, so as for that meeting, that's one action that we'll be implementing, and I'll ask the samples to ensure that all the board work is done for that. Just to respond to the question, the occupancy of this property, there are a couple of things that we need to note. With more scrutiny and demand from citizens for more accountability, everybody has to protect themselves. So at this point, any government entity leasing property as far as our procurement guideline. If we don't, the commission is going to be on our back. So what it means is that a valuation has to be done, and based on that valuation, that is what they're going to demand to be collected. So it means that you are treated based on the clause within your agreement. What we can do from the corporation is that because we understand the role that you play, we will lobby land agency and your behalf to find if they can get a waiver for the property. Because we don't want to kill your organization. Because we don't understand that. As it relates to property tax though, there are 2 things. As long as we get our listing from Ministry of Finance for collection, it means that it becomes a part of our target. Now, whether, and listen to me everybody, whether you're an owner or occupier, the notice can be served on you. As long as the property is delinquent and you are the person with an interest in the property, meaning that you are the person with a live on it or lease it or something, the notice can be served on you. What I can say to you about this is this. Despite the situation that you got a notice, we have noted all the government lands that are delinquent, and we have subsequently submitted a list to the Ministry of Finance with those properties, because not because we come to you, don't mean that we're not going to land agents to say these lands that you own are outstanding. So I'm just saying, don't take it that hard, this move. Don't take it that hard. All right? there's always dialogue when there's a problem, so we can resolve issues. Before the next question, I want to respond to 2 questions online. A question by Karen Da Silva, and Karen Da Silva wants to know what is the plan to improve roads and garbage collection in the communities. There's need for verges to be maintained by cutting. And let me say this. We see the issues of the conditions. We see those issues. And Councillor Bailey stated that the amount that it gets allocation can never resolve those issues at this point. So we're not going to go around the corner and try to hide it and tell something that is not true. But the mayor is going to respond to the government plan as relates to road improvement. As relates to beautification though, the municipal corporation of Clarendon is very proud of what we are doing for beautification in the parish. As a matter of fact, of all the parishes with our own source revenue, we believe we have done the most of beautification. Because what are we doing? Yeah, man, give yourself one for that. What we are doing is this. We have identified some parks, and we continue to maintain those parks every year. Every month, those parks are maintained. So we have the Glenmere Road Park, and many persons have seen that. We have the Mirrorless Runabout. As a matter of fact, some of them are just runabout. And for beautiful there, we have people going to take pictures of wedding and so on. So they see them. But what we're also saying is that those are not just for abatement. We want to ensure that every single division has one of these type of parks. So what is the policy of the corporation? We're saying to the community that if you identify a park, the corporation will work with you to get those parks up and running. We have also stated to the community that in some instances, we will ensure that these parks are developed, but the community must have a maintenance plan to ensure that these parks are maintained so we can move to another community. So we're saying we're willing to work with the communities to ensure that the areas are beautified, to ensure that there are green spaces within the community, to ensure that children have a place to play. That's one of the things that we're working on. So there's 2 things I want to also explain, Your Worship. One is this. When a developer does a development, the developer has a responsibility to ensure that the green spaces are prepared before they turn it over to the community. Because some of those green spaces, not all of those green spaces are really owned by the community. So when a developer builds some houses, leave before those green spaces are completed and over those to the community, it means that they are left and we have to come in to fix those. So what we're doing, we have ensured that the corporation is paying attention to these developers to ensure that before their titles are released, those green spaces are at a standard. So all we need to do after that is maintain. Then you have some developers who die before they ever finish. So we understand that situation. But we're saying that the community wants those parks to be developed. We will work with you to get those parks developed. But you have to play a part also to ensure that they're maintained. All right, so that is what we're doing. As relates to green verges, based on what Mr. Brown presented, we don't have that amount of funds for all of those green verges. And so what we're doing is strategically looking at critical areas to start with, and then we move into other areas. Just today, we had a meeting with NEPA, that's National Environmental Planning Agency, and they are coming down to work with us on our development order. And what NEPA is saying is that their architect is going to come to the parish to do streetscapes, but is 3 or 4 of our roads. And so we intend to improve on those roads. All right. There's another question. Welcome, come to me. Just welcome to me and ask question, man. Come here. All right, we're gonna take about 5 more questions and wrap up.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Earlier in the presentation, it was mentioned that you have 4 relief officers in each division. Is this something in the making or something that already is? And yes, and is there one in Milk River? And who is that person? And what's the role of that person? And then I'll just give you my next question. I just have one regarding the street lights. So like our party have plans for 25, 26 to reduce your cost.
Okay, so we have 2 of the 5. One is about police officer versus the role of the police officer. So, Mr. Bass is here. Mr. Bass, she was here. She's the inspector of poor. So she's in charge of the poor lead department. Poor lead officer responsible for Milk River is Mrs. A. So Mrs. A is responsible for Milk River. The Bear area, the entire area that is stretching from Lionel Town right across the south. All right. So what is the role of the police officer? What we do is that we do have persons on roll. Persons on roll means that we have identified that these persons are destitute. They're living in substandard condition. So we have those listed of persons. The police officer job is to ensure that those persons are given certain type of support. Maybe food packages, it may be money to assist them in purchasing certain things. We do also have students that we send to school. So what we do, we assist these persons. But say, for example, you nurse call us to say that there's a person that is not another person that is in need. The police officer also does that investigation to determine if that person comes on. And if we don't get the support, we also refer persons to the Ministry of Labor to ensure that they get support. So that's one of the roles. And we also recommend persons to the infirmary. So when the police officer comes to the community and see the condition of a person, they may say this person needs to move to the infirmary based on the condition. So it's basically kind of social worker for the corporation to assist persons who are less fortunate, destitute, and so on. I want to say this to you before we close on that question. This year, we are one of the top performers in the country in its care and CSEC. We have both CSEC and care performer being students that we send to school through the Poly program. Okay. So Shani is saying one of the most featured players, it's a great observer. And that person is right now the youth mayor of Clarendon. And these are persons who so we want to say that these programs have impacted many lives and have assisted many students to move out of poverty and to even make their family better. All right? The other question you asked was the solar light. So what JPS is saying to us, before we move forward to increase the number of street lights, JPS has a program that they're trying to change out some of those street lights, solar lights. And that program has started. I know Council Barnesville and our councils are not so happy with the progress that they're making because when the program was initiated, we thought that we'd have already completed Council Barnesville. The whole change out of street light to solar. So, JPS Inspector, you look very puzzled. Solar Council it was it's high pressure sodium LED. Yeah, so that's what JPS done that program to change was out. We do have solar lights because the council sometimes install solar lights in certain locations. And I know even when Council Mirage unit instead of installing a couple of solar lights along the Salt River and also the intersection of Bustamante Highway to come to Middle River, because we have numerous accidents at that location. So we're going to install some of those lights at that time. But I need to say to you, one of the challenges we are having is that people continue to steal these lights. We install the lights and we find that they are missing. So we are trying to see if we can improve on that. We'll take 2 more questions before we close. 2 more questions. And the manager said it's time to close, but hello, Shani, please.
Yes, thank you again. I appreciate the engagement, the presentation, answering questions. But I personally was a bit disappointed. But I heard that this was happening. Yesterday came out here because I was hoping to hear specific program strategies to do with Middle River, my place of birth. Yes, we speak about actually preparing and so on. We speak about programs and smart city and developing South River, we're not just on the road. Talk about beautification projects. And therefore, get plans to beautify Middle River, during the park, right? Everybody is beautiful. I can just imagine how that would go if there's a program there to beautify Middle River. Right? But are there any specific program strategies for my community? Not just starting that. I'm interested, I'm selfish, but that's why I'm here. Right? And if we could talk about that smart city, it is something futuristic, like next after I'm dead, and something needed that is actually relevant.
I'm not sure you're going to die, so but I can tell you that it's close. All right, so let me speak to. I did mention a few things about Middle River. Maybe based on how it was presented, you are not aware that we're speaking to Middle River. So I spoke to nature tourism, I spoke to community tourism. So Middle River itself is targeted. And I know when Ms. Moore reported to say that we have discussions without the CDC involved, that it was based on the fact that one of the things that we are working on is to develop the whole Farka beach area. And I mentioned that next week, the CEO of Nepal will be in Farka to look at what is happening there. So what we did in Farka, we were the one who started with the road, because we realized that access was very important to Farka. Since that, we realized the erosion has impacted the fishing beach significantly. Ms. Ashley can tell you that we are planning to have a regatta and community and festival in Farka, but very tame, and that did not happen. So we are going to move back to develop that type of festival, because we believe that to bring a festival to Middle River will encourage the public to know about these assets that we have in the parish of Clarendon, and to bring certain economic benefit to that area. So we are still interested to develop the Farka Beach area. Ms. Ashley, who is our local economic development officer, is also in the process of writing a proposal for a beautiful river that you have in the river. The name of the river is Cherry. So we realized that Cherry is an asset. And we realized that Cherry, if promoted the right way with certain development, can also bring certain economic development. So we're in the process of doing a proposal to seek funding from some funding agencies to see how best we can develop that to make it an attraction. So it's not just solving, but it's looking at all different aspects. No, all we operate is not us sitting in an office in Mayfair deciding what is best for Middle River. What we expect is that the CDC should come up with their vision and their proposals and their ideas. When they move it to us, and we do have a local sustainable development plan, which also have some areas that they look at for milk road. But how we operate is that when the CDC is meeting and you see your asset, because you know better than we do, as long as you send to us that we see this as an opportunity, we will check to find out how best we can facilitate the process of having those developments. So the plan is not a top-down plan, it's a bottom-up. So what we're saying is that you as citizens need to come to the table with your proposal for your community, and then we facilitate those. One thing I can tell you, and I'm going to let the mayor close by responding to this, is that growth of Milk River is a road condition. Because it's very difficult for some persons to, if you want to go to the bath, or go to Farka, when they start on the road to come down, they just feel like, well, I need to turn back. So the response to the road, we think, there was a politician that said the road to development is the road. It's the road. So we are saying that with improvement of the roadway council, we expect that more activities will come into Milk River. Because let me say this to you, the Milk River community is not benefiting from Burnham Field as they should. Because most of the persons who benefit are not from the community. So we're saying what we want to look at is the assets that we have and how we can fix those assets to ensure that the community benefits better. And we're willing to sit with the CDC to work out these plans. Because if you have 10 plans, we will go through with you. We will create the plans, seek funding, and also help to implement those projects. So this meeting is a budget meeting, but it's also the beginning of a relationship that can garner many things for the community of Milk River. All right? All right. All right. And that is why we're saying we are willing, this actually, no, because when I say we, I mean you. We are willing to come back to a smaller meeting with the CDC to look at all your plans. And we're committing to working with the CDC to ensure that these plans become a reality. All right, so take that from this meeting, please. Come, Ms. Booth, come. Because Ms. Booth is from the community, but she has a lot of knowledge because of where she works.
Okay, just to share that the Milk profile was done recently, and in contact with the research unit of the SDC, they should have come to our last meeting for us to verify the profile that what is in it is authentic. And so we hope that at our next meeting on Thursday, we will be able to verify that profile and all stakeholders can be covered.
Before the mayor speaks to the road condition and to close, I want to say to you that many times persons look to the government, but we can't, our approach to be great, just be hand in hand. Because there are funding that are available that we can't access because we are government. So what we do is assist the communities to get the projects proposals done so you can access those projects. So let us use that as a strategy to improve and move Milk River forward. I'm going to take my seat now. I'm going to ask the mayor to respond to the final question, which is the road situation, and it's based on the government's plan to deal with growth. And then Councillor Ursharon will close off and we do the national work close conference. Thank you. All right.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I would suppose that many of you would have been at the consultation that was held. I'm pretty sure that the CDC, as active as you are, would have been involved in that process also. From my knowledge, I know that the SPARK program is divided into two two phases. The first phase is that each coming out of this consultation, they would have identified 5 roads. 10 roads. Yes, 10 roads. That would be there across. Well, I don't know how you would have chosen yours, but those 10 roads should be coming on stream in short order in a list of priority. And then beyond that, you would have had the section that will be dealt with under the National Works Agency, which would be the main road. Because the 10 would be under parochial roads, and the main roads coming in would be dealt with under the National Works Agency. And recently we would have had a reach, again, where the reach would be dealing with local roads. That is not fully rehabilitated, but roads that can be sheet patched, from my understanding of what has been rolled out so far. So I think under those two programs, the members of parliament would be keeping their community abreast of how those roads will be rolled out. I'm hoping that that will happen because I've often said that Southwest Clarendon has a potential that no other constituency in Clarendon has. No.
The last one was from.
If you're talking about farming, it is there. If you're talking about commercial development, it is there. If you're talking about fishing, it is there. So I agree and I support the point that once your road network starts to get better, this area should be of extremely great potential. Extremely great potential. And I'm going to ask your CDC, because your CDC can be an engine to push us for the political representative to make sure that we work with you to deliver, so that your community, the constituency can achieve the potential that it has. So I would have said earlier on, Councillor, that we're going to, including you as a councillor, engage the CDC, and you have a very active CDC. Not many communities, three of them, not many communities in the parish have this kind of CDC. When you listen to the questions asked here this evening, and before I close, I want to take the opportunity to say a big thanks to you, because what you have done here this evening, you even give us new ideas that we can help to introduce or induce to other CDCs. So with that being said, I want to thank you. We intend to work with you, and we intend to call you very soon to a meeting where we can flesh out more of these ideas, and where we can now engage with governance and your political representative to make sure that we deliver on some of these issues that you have bothering you. And with so said, I want to thank you very much. I want to thank our Chief Financial Controller for a tremendous presentation. Very good, well done. I know Sister Bell said she would have loved a little bit more breakdown. But we came out of here this evening and we're coming up with some ideas that I want to assure you, Ms. Bell, we're going to put in action to make sure that the lives of the people improve. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming out. Thank you for the support. God bless you.
We have been a very good audience, right? Very, very good. The interaction was great. And as such, we'll be asking your counselor for the final honors of saying thanks and closing the function. Mr. Baker.
Before I say anything, I people believe every time I come on the mic, I make trouble. No, we're not doing that. I'm happy. But I just want to point out something. While Mr. Foster was asking his question, this whole argument about festivals came up. And I realized that people in this community has very short memory. Who remember Milk River Seafood and Jerk Fest? I was the person who started that. Who remember Milk River Crab Festival at Pray? Milk River Seafood and Jerk Fest, Milk River Crab Festival, CDC. But what happened? For some reason, just like how the community did not buy into this meeting tonight, the community chose not to buy into those festivals. If those festivals had continued, we would have been way ahead. We would have been way ahead. So no matter what is discussed here tonight, it all boils down to the participation of the community. If the community don't participate, we're not going nowhere. So I want to thank you all for coming. And as I said, I want to really commend the CEO, where is he? And the CFO, and the mayor, and the chairman of the finance committee, and all the members of staff of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. And I must thank the citizens who saw fit to come out so that they can have a better understanding and don't be of the notion that the councillor can go into this abroad office and dip him hand and collect. Ladies and gentlemen, can we all stand for the singing of the national anthem? Who's going to do it? Me? No, we can't. He was free from his birth. He our life to confess to our leaders, and to wisdom of justice to be ours forever.
Safe travels home, everybody.
There you have it. The close of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation for Consultation meeting 2024 here at the Municipal Resort Center in Clarendon. It has been our pleasure to bring you in both here in Jamaica and those who are traveling and flying. Remember, you can still be a part of the process. The center volunteer, even from the youth stage, different. Also, if you reach out to the administrative corporation on their pages, it's making very nice inside there because we are excited about the fact that they need to get around their discussion. So until next time, we'll see you on the local governance community live forum Thursday, October 24th, 8 p.m. Signing out for now. Have a great night.